This has literally just shown up on one of my apps. Check it out. Donald Trump yells from White House roof in bizarre impromptu press conference. I mean, he's not getting saner, is he? He's definitely deteriorating. He's escalating. Something's going on with Grandpop Tango, with Golf Cart Mugabe. Has he had his meds, guys? Can we make sure we hide the button? Don't let him near the button, lads. Let's get into it. President Donald Trump shouted from the White House roof to reporters asking questions on the ground in a bizarre impromptu press conference. Cool. Okay, yes. I definitely feel more secure that a total madman is running the free world and delivering his press conference like a fucking Beatles gig on top of the Apple building in like 1970 or whenever the fuck that was. It's like a live show for the MAGA faithful. He's going to do it like on top of the roof now. There's Trump with a megaphone singing Free Birds. Let the masses come. Guys, let's read on. It says, while apparently surveying the site for a new White House ballroom, Trump was seen wandering around the building's roof. It's just another way to spend my money for the country, the president yelled to reporters observing from below. Anything I do is financed by me or contributed. Just like my salary is contributed, but nobody ever mentions that, he says. And then they got some Newsmax host. If you're not familiar with Newsmax, it's basically Fox News on acid. Like if Fox News is what your Republican granddad says, right? Then Newsmax is what your Republican granddad says after 5 beers. You know, it's like your granddad after the beers. It's, you know, when he's feeling a little bit more free, a bit looser with some of his attitudes. It says he's talking about the ballroom construction site. Newsmax host Sean Kreisman explained as Trump walked away. It says, I mean, if you ever doubted transparency of a president, he'll take your questions from a rooftop. Right. So we're supposed to be reassured, are we, that the near 80-year-old president has just gone up on the... I mean, if this is Biden, this is such a common thing to say now, but if this is Biden was like 80, wasn't he? He was 79, 80 years old. If Biden was like wandering around on the roof shouting at reporters, people would be like, you need to get your dad down from there before he has an accident, before he forgets where he is, thinks he's in a car park, thinks he can fly, falls off, dead. Fucking dead president everywhere. You need to talk to your dad. Get your dad down. I don't care how you do it. Just a trail of stars and stripes and fucking ice cream. Just get him the fuck down. If this was Biden. It says a Newsmax guest praised Trump. He takes questions and he's not afraid of questions. Yeah. Okay. Think about the difference between this president and President Biden just a few years ago. She said, watch the full video below. Should we check it out? Let's have a look, shall we? Why not?
Oh, Allison, speaking of the president, by the way, at the White House, what is he gesturing here? I think it's in reference to this new ballroom that he plans to build. Let's listen in.
We'll show you. It's just another way to spend my money for the country. Anything I do is financed by me, so it's contributed. Just like my salary is contributed, but nobody ever mentions that.
He doesn't take the salary. He's saying it's another way to spend my money. He's talking about the ballroom construction site. So if you, and we'll bring our guest back in on this, Allison, I'll still stay with you. I mean, if you ever doubted transparency of a president, he'll take your questions from a rooftop.
We know every day that he goes out, he takes questions, and he's not afraid of questions. Think about the difference between this president and President Biden just a few years ago.
Exactly. What a difference.
God, it's so unashamedly like North Korean and gushy. isn't it? Like this is the difference. It's like if you go on CNN or MSNBC, if you look at their clips, they're not that gushy about Democrats. You know, if anything, they're too hard. They're like, well, the problem with Kamala Harris was, she wasn't likable. People couldn't engage with her. They couldn't relate to her. She didn't put herself out there on the podcast bro network. And, if you're talking about Gavin Newsom going for the presidency in a couple years' time, I mean, I like Gavin. He's a handsome guy. He's got good hair. But by God, is he coastal. We're trying to move away from that liberal California elite. We got to re-engage with the heartlands. Gavin Newsom is not it. Nobody's gushing about the Democrats on the left-leaning network news, are they? How about Bernie? He's too old. How about The Rock? A lot of people say The Rock might run. He's too inexperienced. About Hakeem Jeffries? Too black. Hillary again? Too female. Oprah? Michelle Obama? Too black and female. They're merciless. Nobody's perfect. Nobody is up for nobody gets their approval on the Democratic left leaning. But on Newsmax, it's like, we've never had a president this perfect before. He's so transparent. I mean, you contrast it with President Biden. I mean, they're not even in the same league. I mean, I get down on my knees every night and I pray to President Trump. And I'll tell you what, my sick child with leukemia and measles was cured. She's perfect again. She's healthy again. And I owe it all to Saint Donald up there on the top of the building, preaching the goodness of himself mostly, how good he is for sacrificing his salary and contributing toward some new fucking ballroom.
What a difference.
I don't know if you caught up on some of this stuff, but it's pretty weird, I think, that somebody who could actually be out of power, right, who's voted in last year, he could be out of power, in 2028, right? And somebody tweeted this the other day. They were like, nobody who is planning to leave the White House in like 2.5 years or 3 years or whatever it is, they wouldn't be planning the construction of a ballroom now. So this should be setting off alarm bells, quite frankly. You should be worried. He's like planning what his property projects and delivery portfolio are going to be looking like still in Washington, D.C. in that time, like within that time frame.
Just another